Seconds here.
Okay.
Good morning. It's Howard Owens, publisher of the Batavian. We're doing another live interview here this morning with Millie Tomidy-Pepper, the executive director of the YWCA. So let's get you on screen here. Good morning, Millie.
Good morning, Howard.
It's good to see you. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Real good, real good. So
Good.
we just wanted to catch up with you this morning, and we kind of get a report on, what the YWCA is, how it's operating today, basically.
Okay. Well, we're doing just like everybody else. We're hanging in there and we're here. Our services are still available. We just want to make sure everybody knows that. If anybody's in need, especially of our domestic violence services, we are here to help. The number is 585-343-7513. And if somebody calls in, they will be connected immediately to a case manager who will talk to them, assess their needs, help them create a safety plan, a variety of different things as well. I mean, they can help with orders of protection. They can help people with court appointments. And I did just talk to one of my case managers this morning, and I wanted to pass along that if people are have a court appointment or they're wanting to file an order of protection, all of those things can still be done. They're being done remotely. They're being done through Skype. The court is still operating and can take orders of protection, and my staff have been doing those right along the last couple weeks. Even though we've all been doing like everybody else, we're working remotely. Here's my remote office, and we go actually. One of us goes into the office every day just to open up the doors and answer the phones and get the mail. But the rest of the staff are working from home, contacting their clients and doing a variety of different things. So we are open for business, although um, two of our programs closed temporarily. I like the word postpone. I talked to Chris on WBTA this morning, and I like the word postpone better than cancel. So or close.
Mm-hmm.
So our children's center in the court is a New York State program, and they have 19 programs across the state. And as of March 16th, they closed those programs because of the pandemic. Um, and so that was our children's center in the court, which you could go leave your children in the child care program there free of charge while you went to your court appointment. So until those court systems open back up, that program's closed. Um, and then we also, unfortunately, had to stop taking donations for my sister's closet, and we had to temporarily close that as well. I know it's a huge resource to the community, and we love it as much as the community, and we can't wait to get it back as soon as possible. We really miss it. We miss just being there in the office together and seeing the different folks that come in every day and either shop or bring donations or come in order to meet with one of our case managers. But it will come back as this progresses and gets better. We'll all be back together again.
Yeah, eventually we'll get through this and things will start to get back to a normal, maybe a new normal. They're like you're learning new skills. We all might do different
I
things coming in the
know,
future.
I know. For those before we got on the air, I was expressing my challenges with the technology that I've had
But
to
you're
quickly learn.
believe me, you're not alone. So one thing I've been seeing in the news, not so much here, we haven't seen reports here, but you might shed light on this. But there are reports that as people sheltering in place more, spending more time together, that there's an increase in domestic violence. What are you seeing? And you kind of already touched on it, but what are the resources available, and what should people be doing to protect themselves, behave better, avoid problems? Any advice you have?
Yeah, a variety of things come to mind. Our
First of all,
call
are you seeing more here? Are you getting more calls?
our call volume is slightly increased. Not exponentially right now. It's increased somewhat. But again, I think it makes sense because if you're in a house with an abuser, you're not able to just freely pick up your cell phone and make a phone call. That person is also isolated in the house with you and with the family. And, it is on the increase because it makes sense that it would be. People are asked to quarantine, stay at home. Now they're home because they might have lost their job. They're trying to apply for unemployment. And, I've heard that's been challenging. Their children are home out of school. They're having to learn a new system. You talk about, my challenges of trying to, interface with technology. um, Parents are having to do that with their children at home because their teachers are teaching them online. So there's just this enormous amount of stress that has been put on families, and it's like a tidal wave. It all came at the same time. It all came for all of us, but in different ways. And so if there was already um, a volatile situation in a household, this sort of just exacerbates it. And we're all being asked to shelter in place or stay at home or isolate. And so it makes it even more difficult for people in need to get the help that they need. But there are things that they can do. They can, if they're out at the pharmacy picking up anything, they can say to the pharmacist, mask 19, and that alerts the pharmacist to the fact that they are in a bad situation, and they will call the police. They
What was
can
that? What was that phrase again?
mask 19.
Okay.
So it's just a way for somebody to kind of ask for help without asking for help. And there's things too, like you can put our hotline number on your phone, 585-343-7513, and don't put it's the YWCA domestic violence program. Maybe you put on there that it's Cindy or whatever, but or a friend or whatever. But there's ways, and I know people are creative. People are getting more creative because they have to, because they're at home. But if you are in need and you call our hotline, you're going to get a case manager who is very well versed in helping people get the resources that they need, that they can help create a safety plan, which is huge. It talks about, you know, just thinking about your surroundings, and making sure that you don't put yourself in vulnerable positions within your house. Always giving yourself an out. Making sure that your cell phone's with you all the time, making sure it's charged up, making sure you have minutes on your cell phone. But if you call the hotline and talk to one of our case managers, they're going to walk you through that step by step.
The You talked a lot about resources with you and everything. Are there? Do you have a? Do you have advice, or at what point would you recommend somebody call law enforcement?
Oh my gosh, if you're in immediate danger, don't call us. I mean, if you're worried about, physically being hurt, call 911, and then they're going to come and they're going to take care of the situation immediately, and that's who you should call if you're afraid, and you need help immediately, to keep yourself safe or your family safe, your children safe. So never risk your safety. Call 911, and we will be there for you after that. It's really important. And the police have been amazing through this as well in so many different ways. I know just like in Leroy, and this is just one community, and I'm sure that the police are doing similar things throughout the county and across the nation. But in Leroy, they've begun where the police will walk through the community down the sidewalks, and they'll have a couple volunteers with them, and they're just kind of walking through and saying, "Hey, does anybody need help?" I mean, you can put a sign in the window that I need groceries or I need medication, anything, or they can come out on their porch and talk just to see human beings and talk. So I know that there's a lot being done. And so, just in the small community of Leroy, they've gotten very creative about reaching out to people. And people can do that by themselves as well. I mean, you can go for a walk and just be there and just kind of keep your eyes open and be alert if somebody needs help and assistance.
That's good. That's the other thing I wanted to ask you is just you list off a great many very realistic ways that things are more stressful for people now, and that can really lead to bad reactions from people. Do you have any advice, like for families, people living together and spending more time together, related or not, how they might better cope with stress and avoid conflicts before they get out of hand?
Yeah, it's so individual for each family because every family communicates differently, but there's so many healthy things that we can all do. We all get stressed, especially if there's small children in the house or even teenagers in the house, and everybody's kind of, feeling like out of place and trapped. Um, when the weather's nice, get outside for a walk. Everybody can, and if you feel like, a conversation is starting to heat up, maybe talk about it beforehand. Have a conversation with the family beforehand and say, guys, we're all here together and we've got to live in this tight, confines of the house right now. And we're all going to get on each other's nerves every now and then. But can we have a word or a phrase that, when tensions start getting high, we just say we need a break or going to go for a walk. Remove yourself from the situation. Take some deep breaths. I was watching the news the other day, and there really is a science between taking 3 deep breaths. I love yoga and it really does help, but there is a science behind it because there's receptors in your lungs that when you take that deep breath, it sends a message to your brain that says things are okay, we're not in danger, and it just kind of let you relax and de-escalate a little bit. So, I mean, some deep breathing, just letting everybody have their space, getting into a routine helps, especially with young kids. I think, anything you can do. And I just wanted to mention our website. We have a brand new website, and we're so excited about it. Because it offers a ton of resources, not only with domestic violence, but also there's a site on there from our Children's Center in the Court program. And let me just find it here. It's called um, How to Make Being at Home a Little Easier, and it's there, and it's from the Children's Center in the Courts program, and they listed it, and it's got all these great resources for families to go on virtual tours. You can visit a zoo, you can go to the moon, you can do all these museum tours and boat rides and everything. It's a great thing, if you just say once a day. We're going to do this. We're going to go out on an outing. So I think routine is a huge, huge piece to this. but it's also individual, and I think people know themselves and their families better than anybody. And so if something's worked before, fall back on that. And I think one of the biggest things is to talk about it ahead of time. When you're already in a stressful situation, or you're in a heated discussion, that's really not the time to talk about how we're going to handle things. That might be the time to go take a walk and do some deep breathing, and then come back, and then let's talk about how we're going to approach things, because this could go on for a while. It really could. Um, and so those are just a few ways. I know there's many others, and the internet is a great resource. Um, we're going to try doing puzzles to try to keep our time, a little, where your brain can just take a break. And the other thing, turn off the news every now and then. I've had to tell myself that. I'm a big news person. I like keeping on top of things, but it reminds me back to when 9/11 happened, and it was so repetitive, and you kept watching, the same thing over and over again, and it just created more stress. And I think, Howard, like when you said, what can you do to kind of change things up and alleviate some stress? I think sometimes it's just turning off the TV. In the old days, remember, we only used to watch the news at 6 and 11, wasn't it? 6 and 11 o'clock, and I think we all need a break from the 24/7.
I get that. For Billy and I, we can't help but be immersed in the news, and we're spending 10, 12, 14 hours a day in it. But even then, there comes a point at the end of the day where it's just like, no, that's it. We're not going to watch. We're not going to turn on any more news right now, and we're going to do something that we find entertaining. And I love your mention about jigsaw puzzles. We're not doing that now, but we've done them in the past, and they're a great way to just, you can't think about anything else when you're working on jigsaw puzzles. It
Right.
just really
You're
clears your
just looking
mind.
for Yeah, you're just looking for that piece to fit in that spot.
Yep.
And the other thing, I mean, artwork and needlepoint or anything like that, I find it really does just take your mind away. And or reading a book, you look up and 2 hours have gone by, and so those are great things to just take your mind away from the reality of what we're all living in right now, which is a little bit scary.
Well, I've discussed this before. This to me, this is a great time for those that I have to work all day, so I don't get to exercise this aspect. But if you're home and finding a lot of time on your hands, they're a great resource online to learn new things. It's a great time to learn new things. Audiobooks and YouTube and sites like Masterclass. You can learn new skills or learn something, just that you never thought you would be able to take the time to learn. Maybe you've got a bucket list item of something you'd want to learn. So I just throw that out there.
Yeah, learn a new language. I should do that. One thing I did want to mention is the wonderful community support that we, as the YWCA, are always on the receiving end of. We have just an amazing community, and they've reached out in so many ways, and especially since the coronavirus has hit. People just bringing canned food for our clients, or sending in a check, or just picking up the phone and calling and saying, how can we help? So I just want to say thank you to everybody out there that has thought of us and has reached out to help us in so many ways. Excuse me. It is also our 110-year anniversary, and so we're so excited, and we have a lot of events planned. Unfortunately, we had to postpone our Spring Fest fundraiser, uh, but we're hoping to reschedule. Um, excuse me. We have a couple more events later on in the year, which we're hoping maybe by then we'll be able to do. But we've had um, just wonderful sponsors. And I wonder if I could just take a minute to mention them
Yeah.
because without their support, the Y really would not be able to continue our mission. And uh, it's Brock Machine, it's Lawley Insurance, it's Batavia Downs, Turnbull Heating and Air, Arctic Refrigeration, Spiritus Christi Church out of Rochester, Liberty Pumps, WBTA, Pastones, Freed Maxick, and Oliver's. Don't forget Oliver's now at Easter time. Phil's Auto, EFPR Group, and Upson Maybach. They all are our sponsors for our 110-year anniversary. So a huge shout out to them and everybody really that just keeps us in their hearts and in their thoughts and is always reaching out to us. The last 2 years I've been there, I've just been absolutely wowed by just some of the things that happen on a daily basis. Deb McAllister one day came in and she started making little teddy bears for the children that go into our safe house, and so. Every I have I we, it's just such neat things like that, and it's just such an amazing community.
Well, that all sounds great. I want to we on YouTube. If for anybody that's watching this on YouTube instead of directly off our site, you're able to. There's a chat window. Ed Hartgrove had a suggestion. If you're really bored and you have a jigsaw puzzle, try flipping the puzzle over and putting it together gray side up.
Oh my God.
That sounds more masochistic to me than.
I think so.
That's just a way to punish yourself.
Unless they're all numbered on the back.
Yeah. Anyway, Millie, I really appreciate your time. We covered a lot of ground. It's a beautiful day out there. I don't want to keep you from it, but if there's anything else you want to add?
Howard, I think we covered a lot of ground too. And I just, again, want to just put our number out there, 585 343 7513. That's the domestic violence hotline. I'd also like to shoot out there our website because there is a lot of information on there, and that's ywcagenesee.org. And just be safe, everybody, and be kind, and we're all going to get through this. We really will. We just got to practice that social distancing, which is hard, but it's necessary right now. And I just thank you, Howard, for the opportunity to do this. It was a lot of fun. It was a little stressful in the beginning because I couldn't get myself connected to Skype, but I did it. So with a little help from my husband.
It's time to learn stuff, new things. So I really appreciate your time. Send me, when we get off the phone, send me an email with those the numbers and the links, and I'll add them to the description. And
I will do that.
Again, appreciate your time. You have enjoy your day.
Thank you, Howard. You too. Bye.
Bye. So this is Howard Owens at the Batavian. We're talking to Millie Tomidy-Pepper, director of the YWCA, and appreciate you all tuning in. And we'll have more news later today. There is a county briefing, COVID-19 briefing scheduled for 4 o'clock, and we'll be try to carry that live as well. You all have a good day.